That was a horrible idea. Welcome back. You are probably wondering why we have all these quarters here, and that is an excellent question. We are going to cash these in today and go on a little road trip to hopefully pick up a game. A friend of mine sent me a link to a game I've been looking for quite a while to put in down at the bowling alley. When I get games down there, I try to find stuff that's going to give me a little more bang for my buck. I don't have a lot of room, so anything that has multiple games inside of it is always kind of a good deal. And this game, it's not a classic itself, but it does have 3 classic games inside of it. So hopefully this is going to be perfect. All right, it's about midnight, and I'm about an hour and a half from home yet. Got the game. There's a few things that weren't quite as what I was expecting, but I think it'll still work out good. I am going to get home, hopefully about 2 o'clock in the morning, and put it in the garage and go to bed, and I will deal with it tomorrow. So, yeah. Good morning to my messy garage. Well, let's take a look at what we got here. So, right off the bat, I mean, I knew this had this little thing going on here where somebody must have like chiseled out this or screwed around with it. But this is pretty clean. Buttons are horrible. They're like some sort of neon thing, but I think we can find some better buttons for that. One thing that wasn't on the ad was this big chunk missing up in the corner. The photo was conveniently cropped right here. So, didn't see that. Don't know. Feel like I should fix it, even though it's going to just go in the row at the alley where no one would really see it. But kind of want to at least do something with it to just not make it such an eyesore if someone were to just catch a glance at it. Otherwise, I mean, there's a few little dings and scrapes, but that's to be expected. This side is pretty darn solid. Nothing really bad here. Go on the back here. Let me flip on the lights. So, first thing when I tried to move it, I noticed this is like completely shot. So I'm going to have to fix that because moving it without this is a pain. I had a heck of a time getting it out of the van last night without dropping it because I couldn't really rely on this handle or that kind of force. I had to just grab onto the sides. We got a serial number. Let's see, where did I see that? Yeah. DJUR0180. So this was, these games were produced in 2004. The guy who I was talking to last night, he was thinking these were out of the 80s, like the originals. But, so anyway, everything else is pretty clean. It doesn't have any keys for it. But I noticed that this thing is just about bent, like somebody tried to, pop it open without it. So we're just gonna take that off and see what we got. So these have a 25-inch monitor, and I don't know. I mean, it's kind of nice. I think it definitely makes a difference for the Mario Brothers game because that is a horizontal game. But it's a little too big in my opinion for some of it, but Here's for the monitor. What else we got back here? Just wanted to kind of look back here before we started up. Got the Namco board in there. Standard power supply. Pretty simple. Not a lot going on. It's got a nice remote board because I think the monitor needs a little tweaking. It's not the greatest. I don't know if it needs a cap kit, but it definitely wasn't quite perfect. But we'll take a look. Just wanted to open it up and make sure nothing happened in transit, especially with this darn thing. I mean, you can see like how much it moves. So I'm gonna have to reinforce that. Maybe just replace it all together. I kind of want to keep all this. So maybe we'll just make a board that goes across the back. That'll strengthen it and reinforce it. The marquee was out. And the big thing, there was no sound. So they seemed surprised by that, sort of. They kind of acted a little bit weird, but so I don't know. I turned this volume pot. It felt really weird. It just keeps turning. It doesn't really seem like it's actually doing anything. So that's something we'll have to take a look at. It does have a dollar acceptor, which is nice. I wasn't expecting that. It does seem to work. It just doesn't have a thing on the back of it here. So, but I think I have a spare one somewhere. So let's fire it up and see what she does. You can hear the dollar acceptor firing up. That out of the way. So it's set to free play. You can see the Mario Brothers nice and big in there. Once you hit start, you can pick Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Mario Brothers. Let's see, we got no sound. She's squished a little. Also looks like the focus is a little off. She's a little blurry. Okay. I wonder if you can get out of this by. Nope. You still see the pipes. They filled it from top to bottom. You see the bottom's like right down here. I mean, it's a very big. I don't know if it's a little blurry because of the monitor or because it's all blown up. But we'll have to play with that a little bit and see. It's set to free play right now. I don't know if any of these. Go under. Hit the service button. It didn't do anything. Credits per coin. What do I gotta do here? Select. Set that to 1. Credits to start. Set that to 1. Bonus credit. 5 lives on DK. Set that to 3. Back to main menu. Let's shut free play off for a second. I Exit the game. There's some burn in this monitor that doesn't look like it was always in this game. Almost looked like some sort of a maze. Huh. Insert coin. Let's see if it credits up. That works. That one works. Let's see if the dollar acceptor will take $1, even though there's no thing on the back. Must need the hopper. It will not take it. All right, let's go to Donkey Kong, which is massive. You know, it's starting to look a little... This looks a little better. I don't know if it's because the other one was blowing up. It's a little soft. These controls are pretty gross. They need to be cleaned. Ooh, he's making a weird sound now. High-pitched whine. That is super annoying. Definitely blown up too big. Like, I almost can't see the bottom of this screen right now. It's very annoying when this thing is not level. Let's just move on. Whoa. That's not cool. What in the heck is going on? Okay, now is the point in my mind where I start examining the decisions I've made that led me to this point. How have I gotten a game that keeps having problems? Could I have avoided it? You know, when you get there, this particular game had been on. It looked like it had been on for a while. So that kind of tells you it's warmed up, everything's good to go. So I did unplug it for a while and then plug it back in, just in case that the problem is during boot up. Sometimes people have the game on because they know the problem's going to happen when it starts up. But it didn't have any problems there. I checked, played both players. Everything played good. There was no sound, but they were surprised by that as well. And, you know, I guess they could have been lying, but I chose to believe them. They did come down a little in price, which, you know, they didn't have to do. I just drove 7 hours. You're a lot more accepting of flaws in a game when you drive 7 or 8 hours than you are if you go across the street to get it. It's easy to walk away when you don't have anything invested in it. So I don't know. It was a kind of a high-pitched whine when I started up now. Thinking maybe it's the flyback. So I'll do a cap kit, flyback, put it back in. It's probably good to do those things anyway. And hopefully that will fix my problems, and that'll be the last surprise. So we had to make things worse before we could make them better. So I just pulled this piece out. Really wasn't much holding it in, because it was already busted in half. And we took, there was a slight backer on here to hold that hand grip that was screwed in. So we just, once we unscrewed it, there was a little bit of glue holding it, so I just kind of popped it off. So then went and pocket screwed a board to fit behind here, and we will attempt just get that in there, get everything lined up. Pocket screw it in. Now we'll glue the heck out of this thing. We got to kind of put them back together and push it in the way it came out. So lots of glue. Let that soak in there. Got a little dado cut in there. Try to get some up here. A little tough to do, so we'll just since a lot of this is laminate, it's not really going to stick very well, but the edges that are cut should stick just fine. This is a messy one. And hopefully we can get this back together here. The way we took it out. There we go. Get a rag to wipe this off. There. Screw this one back to that. And then I'll pull it in. And that's going to be way sturdier than it was before. Doesn't even budge. So we still got that big crack there, but at least everything's solid, holding steady. All right, 2 problems down. Speaking of getting down, we're going to lay this on its side now. So much nicer now that we have a strong handle to grab onto. All right, so we got her laid on her side. I made sort of a little jig here to kind of hold this T-molding in place to use as sort of a jig, and we're just going to put filler in here. It's not ideal, but ultimately this is just going to be put up against another game at the alley, and you wouldn't even see this spot, but I just kind of want to fill this in and have it looking at least a little bit better. We'll get some blue maybe and try to paint it a little bit so it's not quite as a noticeable eyesore, but I don't have time to cut this out and really put another nice piece of wood in here and fix it up the way I'd like to. So for what we're doing, this is going to be good enough for now. We can always go back and do more later. But right now I'm going to open up some Bondo here. And I'll pull, you can see I use some Bondo on there. Pull off a piece. Let's get out some just using this stir stick to pull some out. Probably more than enough. Now, find where I put my hardener. Tell this has got a little bit of water in it here, so I'm just gonna work it back and forth a little bit, try to so how much of this you put on will determine how fast this hardens. So we're just gonna kind of, and this is actually quite old, this piece here, so there we go. That's probably a little much, but this won't take us long to fill in, so mix that up. Just want to try to get that hardener all worked in. Try to do this first with the stirring stick just to kind of get it worked in good. Then I come in with the spreader, kind of clean that off. And then we'll finish working it in with the spreader. Try to get it all one consistent color. Let's come around here and start filling it in. Normally you want to do, smaller layers. You don't want to do just a big chunk of Bondo, but we're sort of cheating here, so do as I say, not as I do. Because the bigger the chunk of Bondo, the easier it is to just snap the whole thing off. In this case, we're just trying to fill this in so it's not such an eyesore. And I don't think I even mixed up enough to do it here. That's okay, we can come back and get some more and fill it in more and go from there. This will give us a good starting point. All right, now we let that dry and then we'll come back and put in another coat and finish it off. Well, I did this off camera. This is either going to be a really great idea or a really bad one. So I took and got some little pieces of plexi. And then got a little duckbill vice grip. Made myself a little pattern. Put these on either side of that busted piece. To fill that little spot in. It's either going to be a great idea or a horrible idea. Like I said, let's... I do not want to scratch this. Trying to use this flat piece of wood. This flat piece of wood will keep me from making dips and gouges. And hopefully, we'll get to the bottom here. Kind of got a little dip right in that one spot. All right, let's peel this off and see what it looks like. This little piece is still on the board, and actually, if I could pop that off, it would look even better. Not sure if you can see that. You can see it filled in that gouge, so we'll just paint that black inside there. Filled in. Not bad. So, I mean, it's still, you know, if somebody gets in there, they're still going to break it. And, but I mean, the same thing would happen here too, I would imagine. So paint that black. I think I've got an orange that's pretty close to matching this. I mean, it's not going to be perfect, but it's going to look a heck of a lot better than that big chunk missing that was there. So, cool. All right, we're just going to keep picking off these problems one by one here. So I think this is all corroded when I took off this volume pot. It looks pretty messed up. So it says on here it's a 100 ohm volume pot. It's got a really tiny base in here to go through this hole. But so I found another 100 ohm volume pot that I had laying around, and I'm just going to swap them out and see what that does. Hopefully that will fix our problem and we'll be having sound again. these one by one so I don't forget what order we're in. And the last one. Darn it. I knew it was going to pop out of there. Never enough hands when you're soldering. Oh, come on. All right. We'll start that all the way down. could definitely hear speaker hum when I turn it up, so it's doing something. Suppose I need a control panel here. All right, we put the control panel on. Insert a coin. Oh, I heard a little tiny volume. Oh, we got sound. Well, there you go. It was just this really shitty volume pot right here. Sweet sounds. All right, I found this in a box of parts downstairs that I had. So let's put it onto this existing piece. Lock it in place. Seems like it fits good. Let's plug it in, see if she works. Huh? We got some flashing green lights. I did not have that before. And just like that, we got 4 credits. That is awesome. Nice to have a dollar acceptor. And while I'm down here, check this out. That Bondo did a heck of a job, and that paint is pretty darn close. I mean, you can see a little bit right there, and it ends right there. But man, you'd never notice it. So for as little effort as we had to put into that, that turned out really awesome. So I'm psyched about it. Not often you get a win like that. Okay, so we replaced the flyback and dropped the monitor back in. So this is what we in the business call the moment of truth. We are getting a very white picture there, but it is giving us a picture. Now we're getting somewhere. That's looking real nice. Whew. Boy, it doesn't get it much nicer than that. Vertical position. We'll move it to right about there. We got volume, we got a screen.
You can play it over here too.
Oh, we gotta play it over here. So far, the monitor hasn't had any flashes. Well, not a good game, but a good outcome. I am pumped to have this guy up and running. Let's get it back together and take it to the alley. All right, well, that kind of wraps things up, and I think this is a nice addition to this row. I got to come back and fix the marquee. There's a bulb out, but that's kind of the theme here. I got a marquee out there, there. Apparently, I've been lacking in the marquee area. But yeah, thanks for checking it out, and subscribe if you like to see more of this content, and we'll catch you next time.